Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L.
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong.
Angel Reese, you can't be the big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L.
Just saw the take my brother Emmanuel Acho made about Angel Reese on Fox Sports. I like Acho, but I think he missed the ball on this one. The media made Angel Reese the villain, just like they made Caitlin Clark the America's sweetheart. I don't think Angel Reese said, hey, I want to be the villain. I think she ran with the title. And as a former villain,
Emmanuel Acho, maybe when it comes to women, you should stick to talking about the white girls on The Bachelorette, defending them for dressing up in antebellum plays on plantations. Because when it comes to black women, clearly you do not have the range.
I don't know what it is about Emmanuel Acho, but that man bothers me from the core of my feet to the top of my head.
First of all, I want to start by saying Emmanuel Acho he is the definition of everything he does is about making white people comfortable, getting acceptance from white people.
To come on national TV and say the stuff that you said is honestly the reason that we don't take a lot of black men serious. Like I said at the beginning, y'all hold black women to this impossible standard. Even just being a woman is already hard.
Hey everyone, this is Rock from StationSky.com, and we gotta talk about this, alright? For those who don't know, LSU superstar Angel Reese became the subject of controversy after her post-loss conference, where she complained and portrayed herself as the victim. Y'all just heard Emmanuel Acho there, just go to town on her, alright? And honestly, there's so much to unpack here, alright? The main thing I'm gonna focus on in this video is that it's difficult, here's the main message, alright? It's difficult to be treated and respected as an equal, while at the same time, people think you need to be handled like a child. That's what this video is about. What I saw from public figures like Carrie Champion and Matt Barnes scolding Acho is similar to a high school teacher pulling you aside and saying, hey, you can't talk about that student, alright? That's a special ed student, they're different. You know, like, do you know how demeaning it is? Like, how weak that makes you look? Again, for those who don't know Angel Reese is a superstar, straight up, you know, like in women's basketball playing for LSU team, she is a beast, alright? She has millions of followers on social media, and by all accounts, she's one of the most talented players out there. She is a real champion. They won last year. They won the NCAA championship last year. She's incredible, alright? Here's where Angel Reese puts the target on her back, okay? Last year, after LSU defeated Iowa in the championship game, Angel Reese made it a point to go out there. Iowa's Caitlin Clark. You see it up on the screen right now, and she taunted her. All right, I saw that a couple of times, and even back then, with Angel Reese taunting Caitlin Clark, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. You know, like, is it right or wrong? It's just sports. All right, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 1986. We did way worse than that. You know, me and my brothers would talk tries from the jump ball to the final score, and I don't think what Angel Reese did was all that. It was kind of rude if you're from the opposing team. We're gonna talk about that, okay? This is the 1990s. Last year was 2023, all right? Everyone had their eyes on the game because Angel Reese has a huge fan base, but so does Caitlin Clark, all right? So that makes sense, all right? If you're fans of Caitlin Clark and you see the rival going after your girl, you're gonna take umbrage. That makes sense, all right? And because one is black and the other is white, that's like shark bait for the mainstream media, all right? Because they're hell-bent on keeping Americans divided. From what I saw, Angel Reese was celebrated by black culture. Her fame and popularity blew up. Celebrities flocked to her. And here's just a couple of things that kept Angel Reese and LSU in the news for unsavory reasons, all right? Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark. We already talked about that. Angel Reese threatened to boycott the White House. Political move. Angel Reese was removed from team activities at the start of the season. There's a whole bunch of lists, all right? You can check it out. This is all from Outcake.com. I have the link down below. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to be honest, this is nothing new. Playing the role of the villain is actually a smart move. Like, if you want to be popular, if you want more opportunities, if you want more money, it does behoove you to, you know, take on that ungraceful villain role. Why? Because the more you get people to hate you, the more people tune in to see you lose. The more viewers you have, the more money that comes from sponsors. And boxing, that happens all the time. Muhammad Ali, in his brilliance, recognized way back in the 1960s, okay? Muhammad Ali was an amazing boxer. Some call him the greatest, though I think personally Joe Louis and Jack Johnson are up there. But the thing that makes Ali different from a person like Joe Louis was all the trash that Muhammad Ali talked leading up to the fights.
I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
You know, he boasted and bragged and he shouted so arrogant and conceited. Oh my God. He knew exactly what he was doing. In a 1972 interview, he spoke about
Gorgeous George, a famous American wrestler. He was talking about, I am the prettiest wrestler. I am great. Look at my beautiful blonde hair. If that bum even messes my hair up, I'll annihilate him. I was there in astonishment, just 21 years old. Nobody knew me yet, Olympic champ, but I hadn't started talking yet. I looked at him, I said, boy, he needs a good whooping. I just wanted the other man to give him a good whooping. When I saw all of those people come to see Gorgeous George to get beat, and they all paid to get in. That's the thing, they paid to get in. And I said, this is a good idea.
That's when he started using his gift of gab to talk all kinds of trash. People could not wait for Sonny Liston to knock the crap out of him, to beat the brakes off of him. But Ali proved to be the better fighter and won.
I'm the greatest thing that ever lived. I don't have a mark on my face, and I upset Sonny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old. I am the king of the world. Hold it. I'm pretty. Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the world.
When it came time for that highly anticipated rematch that happened last week, I was actually on the treadmill as I watched it. And between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on Monday, April 1st, Caitlin won. She put up over 40 points and dominated the game, while Angel, I think, shot 7 from 21. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. I do have to say, I do respect the sportsmanship between Angel and Caitlin, because everyone was making a big deal out of these two coming at it. You know, oh, she taunted you. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I can't wait. Ooh. But during the post-game conference, however, full of emotion, that's when Angel basically said,
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much, I've seen so much, I've been attacked so many times, death threats, I've been sexualized, I've been threatened, I've been so many things, and I've stood strong.
Now listen, when I first heard her speech, the victim mentality was disappointing, all right? But I wasn't up in arms about it, right? I wasn't mad or angry. I didn't feel compelled to speak on it. I didn't even care that much. She lost. I get it, you know? Like, if she feels this way, by all means, speak. Show your true colors. All power to her. My problem is with everyone else acting like she's this weak, fragile creature who cannot stand up for herself. She's a 21-year-old, beautiful, strong. She's proven that she's one of the best in D1 division athletes in the country, all right? I mentioned her age, she's 21, because that's important. Just because you're a legal adult doesn't mean you're fully mature and there's no room for improvement. In order to grow, you need people or experiences to serve as the manure to enrich you with wisdom and guidance. What hinders that growth, however, is when you have all the people around you telling you what you want to hear, telling you that you're good the way you are, or making excuses for your behavior as if to justify it, all right? I hate this so much because it pours into the notion of soft bigotry of low expectations. All right, this was a term coined when it comes to black people. For those who never heard the concept, essentially it's not expecting disadvantaged people or minorities to meet the same standard of behavior or achievement set by most people. It's called soft bigotry because it's more suitable and subconscious form of prejudice. All right, that's why you have stupid people like Biden talking about some
poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Is that what he said? This is a huge problem. Why? Because for some stupid reason, black folks tend to spend so much time trying to identify the reasons for the bad behavior or poor performance or losses or failure that it deflects and it takes the focus off of what needs to be done. It's like, I'm sorry we all had these hardships and excuses, but where do we go from here? Let's focus on that. You know, yeah, identify the problem. Yeah, it's messed up. You were born in a single parent household. Your mom's on crack. Your dad's in jail. I'm sorry about that. Now, where do we go from here? They spend less time on that, where do we go from here, and more about over here and all these bad things, as if to say, oh, poor you, let me hand you some free stuff. And even there, the solution of diversity and inclusion and this push for representation in movie and television, I don't think it's the best route when it comes to getting true respect and equality. Why? Because how do you know that you got that word because you earned it, versus getting it because of your race and gender? Happy to say, some people fight against that.
How are we going to get rid of racism? Stop talking about it.
Idris Elba spoke out against being called a black actor because he said,
I stopped describing myself as a black actor when I realized it put me in a box. Elba explained, as humans we're obsessed with race, and that obsession can really hinder people's aspirations, hinder people's growth. Racism should be a topic for discussion, sure, racism is very real, but from my perspective, it's only as powerful as you allow it to be.
You and Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with them and your thoughts on Steve Wilkes joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right? And that when young aspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, maybe grew up like them, that has to...
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, it means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody else will as well.
He's not there to push agenda, he's there to coach. And little friggin' Wayne, refuses to push the racism is holding his back mentality.
Recently stirring controversy on Fox Sports when he said he personally doesn't see racism because so many of his fans are white.
I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism.
There was a lot of backlash from people about that. Would you change it, what you said, or
No,
you still
not
feel
at
the same
all.
way? What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on. It's not a name. It's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police for a reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb.
His audience from around the country, around the world, are filled with happy white people singing his songs. Meanwhile, you got someone like Kendrick Lamar with the N-word explicit throughout his songs, have a white person up there singing the song, the white person says the N-word, and you're gonna take the time to scold her? Like, oh no, you can't say it. Yeah, it's a free country. She can say whatever she wants, all right? There's consequences. Yeah, you could bash her, but she's free to say whatever she wants. If you don't want that, then get off the stage. Don't have her sing your songs. Black people like Lil Wayne, Todd Bowles, Idris Elba, these people cannot be used by the media to push their narratives that, oh, America's divided and white people are bad. But you can use someone like Emmanuel Acho.
Are you afraid of white people?
Oh, whoa.
That's what I love
Wait a
about
second.
children. I mean, that is a phenomenal question. I'm not afraid of white people. I am cautious of white people. I think about water and electricity. Water, necessary for life. Electricity, it's also necessary for life. But I do understand if those two have a negative interaction, it could be lethal.
You saw the montage earlier, right? They call Acho a coon.
First of all, I want to start by saying Emmanuel Acho is a...
What? Like, it's so flippin' obvious. As long as he's saying something you like, even if it's stupid and everyone else thinks it's racist, no, he's fine. He's one of the good black ones. But the second he says something you don't like because it makes you look bad, even if he wasn't talking about you. All right, so Acho said this.
Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
And again, since then, scores of TikTokers, mainly black women, called out Acho for attacking a black woman as if that was their sister. And Carrie Champion, I think, perhaps said the dumbest thing. Champion said that something along the lines of,
Emmanuel Acho decided to give this critique, and if he was really truly trying to help her, he would have called her up and said, listen, this is what this looks like. He would not have went on a show to say that he's giving a gender neutral, race neutral take and make it about her.
So, Emmanuel Acho, according to Carrie Champion, Emmanuel Acho should have called Angel Reese and had a personal conversation with her, rather than do his job and provide commentary on her public behavior. Did Carrie Champion not just go on CNN and talk about Emmanuel Acho, or did she call Emmanuel Acho and have a private conversation with him? And so when Carrie Champion was on ESPN, did she criticize as the host of First Take or on any show she was on, did she call all of them and say, hey, let me have a personal conversation? Or did she go on television and say what the hell she wanted to say and told them to deal with the consequences?
Jason Whitlock hit it on the nail. Like Acho's a commentator. His job is to commentate on what happened. What? Pull her aside and what? Kid gloves. This is what I'm talking about. I don't respect this. I think it makes us look weak. Everyone rushing to Angel Reese's defense are basically portraying this strong, beautiful, impressive black woman as a weak, defenseless child. Furthermore, by Acho, and you could say that, oh, well, she portrayed herself by crying. I don't think so. Again, she just lost a big game, man. Like, your emotions are gonna flow. You trying to tell me all the NFL players, the NCAA, they're in the championship game. You know you're in the losing sideline. There's no way to win the game. And they pull off their helmets and they're on their knees and they're crying because they worked so hard to get so far and now they're crying. You trying to tell me that all of them are weak, defenseless childs? No. Even Acho criticizing her, I get why Acho's criticizing her. Are we allowed to do that?
I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who has respectfully reprimanded me and offered brilliant opinions on the Angel Reese conversation.
Acho acquiescing and bowing to the woke mob, it sends the message that anytime anyone publicly says something that, let's be honest, black women don't like, you have to then apologize for it. And what's the consequences of that? What do you think is going to happen to a culture like that where you cannot say anything bad or critical of black women? What do you think is going to happen? These are just theories, but here's why I suspect it's going to happen. It reduces the incentive for them to actually grow and get better. Better at what? Life, prosperity, picking the right man to procreate with, prioritizing the right values. If you're lied to and told that you're good the way you are and everyone should love and respect you no matter what you do, reality will hit them. Reality will leave them frustrated and bitter when they see that other groups are more preferred over them. I know, all of that sounds bad. That's not the way I want things to go, but what do you think people are gonna happen? Just like black women are free to do and act and live life however they want, every other human being on planet is free to do the same. And I get it. You know, the culture tries so hard, like they did with Acho, to shame him into shutting up and being silent and to retract all of his statements. But most men and women are not like that. We're not beholden to you. And a lot of us, Christ is king. Hang on, Rock, you're missing the point, all right? We're mad because black women are always held to this impossible standard. No one wants to see the black women come up. Black women are the most hated group in America. Black women are always criticized and they always blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Ever heard of a guy named Christian Laettner?
I hated Christian Laettner. He was a bad dude, but he could back it up with his play.
It was good versus evil. We didn't like him.
I wanted to jump down and punch the dude in the face.
If people think sports is goody-goody, touchy-feely, it's not.
What if I told you, haters gonna hate?
As Jason Whitlock pointed out, when other sports figures face similar controversies where they're portraying themselves as a bad guy, where they're taunting, they're acting like jerks on the field, hundreds of essays are posted criticizing them. Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Cam Newton, Draymond Green. I know, it's enticing to dismiss this as another bash black woman essay, but again, my issue isn't with Angel Reese. It's with the gatekeepers and the talking heads that are making the culture way worse by acting like black people are children to be handled with kid gloves. Just to give you the opposite, right? When Caitlin Clark was complaining during one of her recent tournament games, her father told her to shut up. All right, you can barely hear it in this clip.
Teammates don't quite do it. Learning how to communicate that, articulate what you're seeing. That's been the growth of Caitlin Clark throughout her career at Iowa. Some of those early frustrations was.
But he said, shut up, and then they cut to a shot of him, all right? Did black commentators come out and condemn the father and criticize him for telling his daughter to shut up? For telling a white girl to shut up? You know, did they say, hey, he should have waited until she was behind closed doors and reprimanded her privately? Is that what they said? My dad would have done the same for me, and we're better off for it. Honestly, my dad was the kind of guy who would come home from work, see me, I was like 12 years old. I was playing a video game, a basketball video game, and he saw I was playing on an easy mode, and he got mad. He's like, you restarted, and it's like, no, you played on a hard. That's the kind of person my dad, he wants me to work hard. He wants me to strive to be better. You know, like this is what people do. Men like me were taught that no one's gonna give you anything. Nobody's just gonna roll over and let you win. Yes, there's gonna be adversity. Yeah, people are gonna hate you for your skin color. Even so, even your so-called friends are gonna wanna see you fail. But you fight for every square inch and you work for what you get. Now get up, stop complaining, and power through it. That's what men like me were taught. All right, I know there's those men and families and women who are instilling that in their kids, all right? Angel Reese, for her to get as far as she did, I know that there are people in her life doing the same thing. So to have people like Matt Barnes and all these commentators and all of these people on social media acting like, what are you doing, Acho? Furthermore, it does seem, ladies and gentlemen, it does seem that every time a black woman is called out for some antics or bad behavior by a mainstream pundit, the prevailing pushback you get is what you just heard. Oh, black women are, given these impossible standards. No one wants to see the black women come up, etc., etc. Do you know how that sounds? To act like your problems are more significant and difficult than everyone else's, as if we all don't have our personal battles to fight, hindrances based on our immutable differences. I'm a black Christian conservative author. You think I'm gonna have it easy trying to be a bestseller in today's liberal dominated publishing industry? When you push the message that we're not allowed to talk about a certain group, or that we have to treat a certain group of people with special preferences, you run the risk of fostering the same resentment you already accuse other groups of people of having. Right? It's no different from people like Ben Shapiro accusing others of anti-Semitism on trumped-up charges, which then produces the anti-Israel sentiment which would have otherwise not existed, all right? Because people don't care as much as you think they do, but when you start to push them in the corner saying, oh, you know what, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, it's like, I wasn't, but now I'm starting to wonder, like, why did you accuse me of that? Oh, is this what you got going on, which I didn't care before? Oh, I don't like that. That's why I'm like, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, it wasn't this way. We know racism exists. I grew up in Georgia where our next door neighbors had the Confederate flags flying from the doorposts, and yet they still treat us with love and respect. We used to play basketball with them. We didn't think to ourselves, you know, I can't function because that Confederate flag over there, you know? Like, dude, it was just a tougher time, man. It was a different time, all right?